Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today we have another question from Afterfove. Afterfove has a follow-up question to his previous question about the controversial Logan Paul video and whether the controversy really has to do with fear of death. The follow-up question is this: would I agree that in most cases fear of death is actually fear of not having led a full life? And my answer to that is no, not as phrased. But if we were to ask instead if the fear of death for many people has to do with fear of not having led a full life, that I would agree with. But I would not agree that it is always the case. I think that it's also a very reasonable consideration. You know, it's said that when people come to die, they rarely regret what they did do, but very often regret what they did not. And I am a great believer in doing that thing you want to do, at least as long as it's a reasonable thing to do, and that you will be happier because you did it, even if it's not a great success, because you will know what happened and not always have to wonder what would have happened if you had done it. So I think doing all that you can to lead a full life is a very good idea, and certainly will make you less regretful when you come to the end of that life. However, as a pagan, I would also remind you that you don't just get one. In fact, the Correllian belief is that there are many versions of every life which are more or less simultaneous, but that every decision plays out differently in different dimensions within the multiverse. So each of our lives has more than one version that has occurred within our soul. And so I would say it's very important to do all you can to lead a fulfilling life in which you do the many things that you want to do. But if for some reason you don't, your soul has many other chances. So I would say don't really worry about it, but focus instead on what you can do to lead a full and fulfilling life. And again, I think a lot of people fear death for the reason that perhaps they have not done those things they wanted to do, but I think many other people fear death because they were taught to fear death. And there are certain religions which teach that if you do not belong to their church or you do not follow many little rules, some of which are impossible to follow for most people, that you will spend an eternity in torment. And how could you not be afraid of death if you actually believe that? Other movements teach that death is simply extinction, and I would think that many people would be afraid of death for that reason. And so I don't think it's always a fear of not having lived a fulfilling life, but I think certainly that it often is. And I also think that those people who teach that when you die you are likely to go to a bad place are basically using a psychological technique of control. Because if you can convince people that breaking minor rules will condemn them to an eternity of torment unless you intercede for them, well, you've got a great deal of power over them. And I think that the perpetuation of this doctrine really is rather cynical, and I think that many of the people who perpetuate it are doing so mainly for personal and political gain. So these would be my thoughts on the matter. I hope you find them helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be. Please join me for our Correllian peace prayer. I pray for peace. I pray for love. I pray for stability. I pray for the nation where I live. I pray for the world. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you for Pagans Tonight Radio. Pagans Tonight Radio is an online radio network with different hosts and different shows 7 nights a week. There's something for every taste, including Spanish language programming on Saturday evening. Check out paganstonight.com today.